starting my morning with a pair of eye masks because I did not get any sleep last night. I've been up since like 2 a.m. or some nonsense like that, and as usual, when I finally fell asleep, it was time to wake up. So I've had very little sleep, and I feel like it's gonna be a long day. And when I have one of those weekends where I just don't get enough sleep, like the week just feels extra long. It's also raining, which sometimes triggers my migraines, so I'm hoping this week won't continue on this note. I thought a little comfort would, maybe help. These aren't the greatest eye masks. These are from the last time I went to Sephora, which was back in like February of 2019. No, 2020. Yes, 2020. What is time anymore? So yeah, before lockdown and all that mess, I took like one final trip to Sephora and I bought lipstick and eye masks, and let's just say that lipstick has not seen as much use as I intended. But such is life. I'm sure that we all had purchases that we made that now look really silly. One of my pre-work from home purchases was a new bag for work. I think I got to wear it like for 1 week before we were sent home. It now sits in the little cubby where I put my stuff for work, and like a million things have piled up on top of it because I haven't touched it in over a year. Well, almost a year at this point. It'll be a year next month, which is amazing and such a weird roller coaster of emotions, because I have to admit I have not been upset with the work from home situation, for me at least. I do not miss my hour-long commute each way, but it's such a weird world to live in, and the circumstances I could do without, as we all would, I'm sure. So happy Monday. Let's see how this Monday goes. I do recommend the gold eye gels. I think they're collagen gels or something like that, that they sell on Amazon. They're a massive pack for like $10-15 depending on how many you buy, and those are very good at retaining the cold. These, not so great. I should have gone with the gold, but I wanted to use these up. I'll check in with you guys later. It was so cold last week, and I even ordered a heater because I was freezing and my hands were so stiff I couldn't really even write. And it is so hot this week. It is unbearable. I just worked out and I am sweating. I am going to shower because I feel disgusting. It's just that bad. It is 82 degrees outside, and it was like 50 degrees last week. And that, friends, is Florida weather. So I just found out they want us to start returning to our offices completely without a plan. Email came from the president after hours, past 9 p.m., which I think is like the coward's way out to be like, I want you to do this starting next week, but I'm gonna tell you after hours when nobody can complain to me. So I'm gonna see what happens today. I have a faculty meeting today. We'll see what information we get. I've emailed my department chair, see what information I can get from her, what sort of plan they see. I have no desire to return to a fully populated library. Sit in an office that is right near the entrance and is filtering air right from one of the most populated areas. So I have a lot of, concerns about this. I just ordered an air filter. Like, did I need to really spend those $100 on an object? No, but I need something to filter the air. There's right now the Starbucks is not in business, but there is normally a Starbucks that shares the same air vent with my office, and I could smell every croissant they burn, so I know that that air is traveling straight into my office. And like I said, that's the same air that goes through the entrance, because my office is right by the entrance to the building. So I'm not happy. I'm anxious and concerned, as I'm sure many people are. And I know that the privilege that I've had to work from home all this time has been a privilege, and not everybody has that, and I totally understand. And I'm completely empathetic to everyone's situation, but this is mine. And it's my anxiety and my emotional response. So it is what it is. It just, I'm airing that out. These vlogs are just a record of what's happening in my life, because I find that this has, one, been helping me creatively look outside just writing as a creative outlet, but also just kind of look through my days and appreciate the little things. And that also means appreciating the emotions that I feel and can put out there. So this particular vlog is mostly just a talking vlog, which I haven't done very many of, but it's an emotional roller coaster. So I'm mentally already jumping through scenarios, like how can I do this so that we're not all sharing an office, which I don't expect them to expect that. But how can I minimize the number of days that we're in there? Do I want to do a bi-monthly or pick a week and show up twice in that week? And I don't know, I'm just, at this point, they've only been requiring staff to go in once a week, and my one staff person, I have just planned her schedule in the way to make her as safe as possible and not have anybody interacting with her. She doesn't want anyone interacting with her, and that is fine with me. I do not want to put her at any more risk than she has to be in, because they demanded that staff go in first. And like I said, I totally understand the privilege I have, and as a supervisor, it's always my goal to, be equitable and be fair and empathize and defend the people in my department when they need me. So I have not been requiring her to do more than the bare minimum that the university is requiring, because I don't think we should even be there, honestly. Our work is completely effective online. It's really just a matter to appease the state, because we're in a Republican state and we know how that goes. So yeah, my politics are out there. Screw it. I don't care. This is my vlog. If you don't like it, go away. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm waiting for a response from my department chair, who has not responded, which I'm surprised, because she's usually an early morning person, but I bet she's also fielding a million emails about this, but contacting people and all that. Well, it's just really frustrating, because as I've mentioned, everybody's got someone, everyone's got something. I live alone. If I get sick, there's no one to help me. There's no one to take care of me. I also have health vulnerabilities, and anytime I do get sick, it takes me a very long time to recover from whatever it is, and those are normal ailments. I don't even want to think about what this might do if I were to get it. Let's just say I have a history of not doing well with disease, and I have a mother who is highly vulnerable, depends on me for a lot of stuff, a grandmother who is bedbound essentially at this point, and they need my help, and yet I don't want to risk bringing contagion into their home. Neither of them is vaccinated, and given, again, the politics of our state, highly unlikely either of them will be vaccinated anytime soon. They're on wait lists. We don't know where those wait lists are going, how long those wait lists are. The Hunger Games style situation every time that a hospital announces that there are vaccines is insane. People take those slots within minutes. You have to be on the alert the second that the openings go up on the websites. And, if they depend on me to take them in, I need to be safe enough to not put them at risk when I do take them in. It's just a hot mess of a situation. So, like I said, I know the privilege I've had. I can check my privilege. I also know that I have my own shit going on, and I don't want to be at that risk. I do not think this is a necessary risk for any of us to be taking, staff or faculty. It just isn't. And that's that. I did say it would be an interesting vlog. So it's like 2 hours later, I had a meeting, and then I had a call from my boyfriend who spent all day with somebody who tested positive today. So that was yesterday. The person is someone he works with whose partner is a nurse. They just found out that their partner had tested positive, and they did a rapid test which came back positive, and for reasons, my partner, who works in a similar environment to mine, hence why I was saying this is a risk that seems unnecessary for work that can be done effectively from a remote location, for whatever reason, was physically close enough to this person to now be concerned. Now, due to the science of PCR tests, you do have to wait a few days, so he is going to get tested on the off chance that he was exposed earlier, even though he wasn't at work last week, so maybe, luckily, he might not have been, but he's going to get tested regardless tomorrow, and again next week, should it be a thing where it's not yet sensitive enough because of the length of time to exposure. I'm getting tested this week because of my DMV situation last week, so I'm actually getting tested on Thursday, hoping that the time I spent with my partner over the weekend did not coincide with any previous exposure, but whether or not, I'll be getting tested anyhow. I waited 5 days for my appointment from the time when I may have potentially been exposed last week on Friday. I'm getting tested on Thursday. I'm hoping that's enough time. The website says 5 to 9 days for PCR testing. So I'm gonna get tested regardless, and then next week I'll probably do another test. And then I have to go to the DMV again on the 22nd, so I'll be doing that again in the next few weeks. So I'm potentially getting tested about 4 times between this month and the next, just to be on the safe side. It's stressful. I'm still figuring out the situation from that whole mess with the email this morning, but so is everyone else. Nobody had any idea. None of the officials in any departments seem to have had any idea, and everyone's just as concerned, confused, anxious as I am. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I feel like everything just compounded. Like, now I'm doubly concerned, but trying to stay positive. I do remind myself that I've done everything I can to potentially limit my exposure and remain relatively safe. Because again, it's relative because we're in a pandemic. Who knows who's sick? This is a very tricky illness, and people can have it and not even be aware that they have it and still be shedding virus all over the place. So I am concerned, and all I can do is literally wait. That is literally all I can do, is wait and see what happens. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably be taking you guys on a trip to get tested on Thursday. I just realized it is 12:19, and with all the drama, I have not even had breakfast. I'm making leftover Israeli couscous and Moroccan tofu that I bought. It was pre-made. I bought it. It's really good. It's emergency food, and I had half last night, so this is my leftovers for lunch. I'm glad I had leftovers because my brain can't handle trying to figure out lunch right now. So I'm going to have this and prepare for a meeting at 1 o'clock, which is like 40 minutes away. So I'm going to have that. I didn't even bother with getting a real bowl. I just poured it right back into the container I had stored it in. It's really good. I had never made Israeli couscous before. It's really good too. It's super easy. So nice option if you're short on energy and time, if you need a quick side dish. Like, have some Israeli couscous in your pantry. It's so good. Loading up on all my vitamins. More critical than ever. Just trying to stay positive. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. I had to think about that for a moment because I have no idea what time it is anymore. I am currently reading through the draft. I've got about 50 pages left to go, so that's exciting. I did not catch up as much as I wanted to yesterday because I barely managed to squeeze in a couple of sprints at the end of the day. I had meetings all the way through, like right up till 5, and they were all kind of draining. I really didn't even feel like picking up the draft and trying to focus. I always tell myself that I will not write edits in the draft, and I always epically fail at stopping myself from doing that. So I have been doing it, and this time I am telling myself that I will actually use those edits because I will not duplicate effort yet again. This is one of the things that I have a hard time with this stage of editing, where I am reading through the draft and revising, and I can't stop myself from grabbing a pen and just taking notes in the text. And they're revisions. They're perfectly fine revisions, and I should apply them. And it's a leftover from my days as a student and my obsessive editing of every single paper I ever wrote. Reading on the Kindle is easier because I just take notes as I go and kind of give myself broader suggestions. That's more effective for my macro editing stages, but this is more micro. I am looking at the line by line detail edits, as well as, like any final shifts or scenes that need to be cut or trimmed, and it slows me down. And I know that it's like a weird, like, obsession, nervous tick thing that I have. Sometimes I wonder if I just edited on the screen, would it be more effective? Because I could just edit and type as I go. But then I know that also is not the most effective at getting a full big picture feel for the story and where it needs to be pulled together, tweaked, refined, etc. So I'm telling myself that I'm going to go back and actually just use these. I'm going to probably take them out of the binder, that's what you see here, and go chapter by chapter, split it up into pages. Maybe I can go at the same pace that I'm reviewing and actually manage to get this edit knocked out within the time frame that I set for myself. But I am hoping that I have about 50 pages, as I said. I'm hoping that I can get through them. If not today, tomorrow. I am currently doing laundry. I woke up really early. My boyfriend is off to get his COVID test, preliminary COVID test, just because his mom is also here and has not been staying at home as she should for a woman over 65. But yeah, he knows that the PCR will not in any way detect any exposure he might have potentially had on Monday, given that it's only been 2 days. But in the meantime, he's like, whatever, I'll bite the bullet and take a test, and just on the off chance that he's been exposed because of his mother, or just daily life. He's never had a test, so this will be his first time testing, and then he'll just get another one next week. I'm doing something similar. I'm getting my test tomorrow on the off chance that something happened when I was at the DMV, and I might possibly get another test next week. And it all depends on whether or not I'm even going back into the office next week, because I am meeting with my department today. We are going to discuss that, and I was reassured a little bit yesterday after all those meetings. I have a plan. It's always the first step in figuring out how to handle things is setting up a plan. So I have a plan. I have multiple plans. I have a diagram that I'm going to go into my meeting with and sort of like chat with my folks and figure out where we want to go, how we want to do this. I'm thinking 2 people a week. We already have one person who's there once a week, so adding another person a week to start should be more than enough to meet our needs as far as addressing students and traffic on campus and all that stuff. So it shouldn't be as scary as it seems, because I know that our campus doesn't have as much traffic as the other bigger campus, but it's, you know, I've been home for almost a year. It's still hard to wrap our head around the return. I mean, I have a hard time getting back after taking a 2-week vacation, and this has been like a 1-year working vacation, sort of, in the sense that when I take vacations, I'm usually just at home writing anyhow, so it never feels quite like I'm taking a vacation. It just feels like an extended time away from the office. I'm already looking at like warming lunch boxes because I don't want to share the communal microwave. That's not happening. Probably gonna buy another kettle just for my office, just for me. I'll check in with you guys later. Another kitchen gadget that has come in very handy this year has been this waffle stick maker. I got this for like $7, I think it was, on Kohl's clearance, maybe like 10 years ago at this point, and I've used it over the years, but it's gotten a lot of use in the last year. I'm having a waffle craving, and it's so easy. Might be getting a little on in ears because some of the waffles are coming out a little bit too toasty. Might be time to replace it, but it's still good. The lighting in here is terrible, but I am in my car on campus in the garage for the first time in definitely a year, because I had not been to this campus since before we went into lockdown. So this is interesting. I'm gonna go down. There are literally 1,000 parking spots available in this garage because obviously we don't have very many people on campus, and student presence is very limited right now. So I am gonna go get tested. Should be quick because boyfriend's test from yesterday came back at midnight apparently, so hopefully by sometime tomorrow I should know whether or not I am negative or positive, and I'm hoping it's negative. I have you guys propped up next to my laptop. I did the COVID test this morning. It went fine. It was really quick. It's a self-administered test done outside, very sort of safe environment. There were other people there. It's being run by the university that I work for, so that is supposedly, you know, gonna give me a fairly quick turnaround. It's the same company that my boyfriend ended up using, and he got his results like within 6 hours, actually, like maybe less. No, maybe a little bit more, like 12-hour turnaround probably. He, I think, went early in the morning, not midday. So I expect to probably find out sometime by tomorrow, which is Friday. Today is Thursday. I am absolutely exhausted this week. I feel like there has just been so much. I am also on my period, so everything just feels a little bit more extra. stuff that I probably wouldn't be so emotionally reactive to, I am definitely more reactive to right now. I also just feel drained, like physically. I am so fatigued, and my allergies were just absolutely wild yesterday. Probably because the mango trees are starting to do their thing. So other places have pollen, we have mango trees. That's just one of those big allergens we have in this area. So I don't normally react this way. I think it's because I've been indoors for so long that maybe my allergies are just like, what is this foreign body up my nose type of a thing. So I don't know what can really help, because so far I've taken all my usual allergy meds and it's not helping. I just took some sinus pressure medication because I feel it like all up in here is super swollen, just because of the allergies. Like, it's a sinus allergy situation. It's not like real sinuses, but it feels like my sinuses are suffering. Took that, hoping it helps, because yeah, between like feeling tired, feeling run down, having so much to do, having more meetings today, tomorrow, phone calls, I'm just worn out. I have not caught up on all the writing stuff I wanted to get done. I had planned on being done by Tuesday, and it's Thursday, and I still have like 50 more pages to read through and write notes on, and I don't think it's gonna happen today. I think I am probably gonna be wrapping up over the weekend. It just feels like I need a nap. Like, more than anything, I feel like I need a nap. Probably a hot bath. I don't think I'm gonna be very productive other than just getting the basics done, because I do not have the energy for it. I'll see. I have a delivery to pick up also, because I ordered a storage unit drawer set thing for my closet, because that's a whole other mess. My closet has become a little bit unwieldy in the last year, just because I have to store so much stuff in what is a very small apartment, and I don't normally buy things in bulk, and I have been for the last year in order to avoid shopping more than I have to, and it's become unwieldy. So I ordered a storage unit like the one I ordered for my kitchen like 2 months ago, I think now. And it's at my boyfriend's place because I didn't want to make someone have to go up the stairs. My building does not have an elevator. It is really old. And I don't like abusing my Amazon drivers. So I have to go and pick it up. It's like IKEA style, so I'm going to pop that box open and bring the pieces up. It's a lot easier than trying to carry that whole box up here. You see how that goes. I'll check in later. Making myself a second cup of coffee because it's going to be one of those days. It's been one of those weeks. I got my test results this morning. I obviously kept checking obsessively because that's just the way I am. It didn't come as quickly as my boyfriend's did. His took like 6 hours, 12. I don't know. What is time anymore? I can't tell. Definitely less than the 24 hours. It was like maybe just under 12 hours that he got his results. I got them in right under the 24-hour mark, which is still pretty amazing because the first time I did a COVID test, I'm gonna hold you guys here, I had to wait 10 days. And just, the fact that I do not need to worry for 10 days making coffee is wonderful. So grateful for that, because that 10-day waiting period was nightmarish that first time around. It was very early in the pandemic. It was back in it wasn't March, or maybe it was March. It was like at the very end of March or beginning of April, right when everything started last year. And it was a terrible time of uncertainty. It was really hard to get tests at the time. It was hard to get the results. The process was just a nightmare. Itself, it wasn't that bad. It was like an hour-long wait in a car. the National Guard was managing it. It was very organized, but it was, you know, there were like 3 testing sites in the county and everybody was rushing to them, so it was hard to get everything done quickly. And your results would take forever. Some people, I think, were waiting like 2 weeks. So I waited 10 days that time, barely 24 hours this time, which is wonderful. My mom and my grandmother are getting their vaccines today, and as I said yesterday, I'm anxious about that because, I mean, they're people I love. At the same time, I do want them to get vaccinated because I as a rational, logical, scientifically oriented human being, know that their chances of having ill results or death from the virus are much higher than from the vaccine. Variants and everything being tossed into the mix makes it that much more complicated. So I can now at least take them, help out. It was getting tricky yesterday, and I had a bit of an argument with my mom over how they were going to get there, and everything just happened too quickly, and it was just complicated. Not so complicated today. I will get retested next week just on the off chance that I didn't wait long enough for viral load, but I feel more confident now. I'll wear one of my KN95s, sit them in the back of the car, open the windows, drop them off. Same thing I've done on other occasions that I've had to take them somewhere for some reason. So yeah, I'll do that. Spend some time with them, make sure everything is okay once they get vaccinated, and pick up dinner and all that, because I don't want my mom really doing much. Even though, from what I've heard, people who I know whose parents have gotten the vaccine and just anecdotes, the first dose, I mean, even just in the reports, the first dose is less likely to cause any major, like, physical ailments, headaches, etc. But my mom is special. She doesn't have a spleen or tonsils or much of any immune system, so I do worry about her every time something can happen. So I'll be dealing with that today. I'm trying to do a switch in one of my shifts because I was scheduled to work the online chat service at a time when now suddenly I can't. I hate asking other people to switch. I am very careful and cognizant when I do my selections around my schedule so that I don't have to switch and burden somebody else and, you know, have to do a last minute call. So I only make a last minute call if it's like a situation like this, if it's an emergency. I can't drive and chat at the same time. If it was like at the time when I'm sitting in the car, I could hook it up to my hotspot and do it, but can't do it while I'm driving 2 elderly ladies around town. So I have to deal with that, hoping I can get a switch. Otherwise, it will just be like a, hey, can anybody take this? Because I just won't be able to. Yeah, so fingers crossed. I have you guys on my bed now. As I drink some of my coffee, I have some stuff to take care of today, but I gave myself the last 2 days off of writing. There's no way. I just mentally could not handle anything else yesterday, and just looking at my schedule today and what I have to get done, however much time is, maybe I'll take the book and read in the car, but I realized it's happened before, best laid plans. It just wasn't gonna happen. I had set a goal to finish reading last weekend, and that's when I realized I miscounted and thought I had 20 chapters instead of 28. I got up to chapter 25 just like by the skin of my teeth because I was forcing myself to like sprint every time I had a break, and into the evening, which is not my best time. Evenings are definitely not my best time for getting any kind of creative work done. It used to be when I was a student, I could write well into the night, but it is just not anymore. I'm definitely a morning writer. At worst, an afternoon writer. Sometimes I can get like a second wind, like right before dinner, but it was just becoming increasingly obvious that I didn't have the mental space to concentrate, and I wasn't focusing, I wasn't reading effectively, I was just kind of like skimming through things, and it's like, well, what's the point of this? Well, I'm not even being effective in doing this, so I'm just giving myself more work in the future if I don't skim through these and take care to write down the notes that I need. So I'm not even going to do that today. Not even going to worry about it. Just going to work through what I have, build the piece of furniture that arrived yesterday that I brought up and is sitting in pieces in my living room, and fix my closet. Do something completely unwriting related just to feel productive but take my mind off the stuff that I can't manage, and do that. And sometimes you just have to do that. I feel like this is a vlog of me rationalizing through problems. Just the reality sometimes, and working from home, and having a life that is basically what is work and what is writing and what is just me living because I'm in the same space all the time. Sometimes it just comes down to that, just like figuring out where to start and stop and call it a day. And we're calling it a day on my writing. I'll finish over the weekend and I'll start the proper revision on Monday if I can. And if I can't, then it will be Tuesday, but it will get done because I know it will. Sometimes that's just how it works out. Hey guys, so I'm going to end the vlog here. I feel like titling this like a roller coaster of emotions. Everything went well. Vaccine went fine. My mom did run through the gamut of symptoms within the first like 2 hours or so. It was fairly quickly. First symptom she had was headache, and as she described it, sounds exactly like the kind of migraines that I get on a regular. So it was like, she described it as a stabbing behind her eye, so like right up in the temple behind the eye. It lasted about 20 minutes and it was over. She did have chills, she had the body aches, she had the general sense of exhaustion. At first she thought it was because she hadn't really gone out of the house in a few months. Last time she went out of the house was like I think late December, just to go to the doctors, or I don't even remember. I did vlog about it, so it must have been between December and January. I think it was actually the very start of January. She went to the eye doctor, and that was the last time she's gone out of the house. And we had to lift my grandmother, who is essentially bedbound, wheelchair bound at this point, and so that was a little bit difficult. We had some help, but it's not easy to move her around. She's light, but even though she's not a heavy person, it's heavy to try to lift her because she doesn't really like have mobility. So it's like a dead weight kind of a thing, which is not easy with a person who's like at least 5 feet tall. And so that took a little doing. So the worst struggle of the day was getting my grandmother in and out of the house. She had seemingly no symptoms, but again, my fear with her is that she is essentially completely lacking in a vocabulary at this point in her Alzheimer's. She does speak every so often, and she does do gestures, so my mom was looking out for her. When she gets a headache, she'll do like one of these, and so she can tell like, oh, that must be that she's feeling something in her head. But she didn't do that. She seemed fine. She fell asleep fairly early, which is probably the exhaustion of the vaccine for her. She, despite having Alzheimer's, does not fall asleep easily. Like, she can stay up late. I am an early to bed person, and because of my grandmother, and I think her own just anxiety, my mom does not sleep particularly well, and nor does she go to bed early. So I stayed up way past my bedtime, watched both of them. They were both fine. Otherwise, I didn't have to worry too much. So today I came home. I've called her a couple times. She's doing fine. Both of them are doing fine. You know, my grandmother is like 87, I think. I have to do the math. My mom's 70. My grandmother's 87. Yeah, that's about right. My grandmother was like, she's probably 89. She was like 18 when she had my mom. But she's doing totally fine for, you know, the only thing she ever has wrong physically is her Alzheimer's. There's nothing else. Like, she has no physical ailments. Otherwise, we were just worried about potential allergic reactions. So far, so good. And my mom does have some health issues, a lot of health issues. So my fear there was that she might not respond well to the vaccine, but she did. She says it's essentially just the same feeling she gets when she gets her flu shot. She always has symptoms when she gets her flu shot, and it's the same kind of vibe. So that reassured me. I feel much better knowing that they've at least gotten the first dose. Their second dose will happen sometime in March, so I'll have to plan around that too. It's been a week, y'all. It's just been a week. So I am going to just call it a day. I came home, I built the storage unit that I bought, I put it in the closet, and now I've got some decluttering to do, but I'm excited. Actually, I need to do some major decluttering, but that's not going to happen to the level that I would like to do right now, because where am I going to take it? Like, where am I going to donate it? I don't really want to overwhelm Goodwill with the amount of stuff people are getting rid of. So that is a story for another day, probably a vlog for another day. So thank y'all. If you got this far, let me know in the comments down below how your week went. Did you have an emotional roller coaster? What are you all dealing with? And I will check in with you guys next week. Have a great weekend, weekday, week in general. Bye guys.